What's up everybody, it's Justin with Supreme Suspensions. Today we've got our 2018 JLU Wrangler. We're going to be installing our dual light pod A-pillar mounts with a set of rigid radiance light pods. These are constructed from 1/8" steel plate, laser cut and CNC bent. Comes with new hardware, the appropriate spacers, and it's a no drill installation utilizing your original cowl bolts. Let's go ahead and get these started on the truck and see what we can get done. Alright, so we recommend loosely installing the lights to the bracket before attaching the brackets to the Jeep. This makes it a little easier to get to the hardware that's in there, especially if you have a traditional dually pod style light where the nylock nuts drop in from the underside. We've already got the passenger side assembled. Let's go ahead and quickly put together the driver's side loosely so we can get it installed. Alright, so now we've got the driver's side bracket loosely assembled. We can go ahead and start the installation process. Something to keep in mind, while we're using the rigid Radiant series lights, any of the common mount rigid D-style lights will fit, and other aftermarket brands as well. So in the kit, you're going to receive 3 spacers per side. They're of different heights. We have one with 1 notch, 2 notches, and 3 notches. The 3-notch spacer is going to mount in that front cowl hole. The 2-notch spacer is going to mount in the rear cowl hole, and the single notch spacer is going to space out the bolt over on the side of the A-pillar. Let's go ahead and remove these using a Torx T40. Now your light bracket kit's going to include a variety of hardware. What you're going to use here is 2 of the 50mm long bolts and 1 of the 35mm long bolts. The 35 is going to replace that side bolt on the A-pillar. The 2 50mm bolts are going to replace the 2 going into the cowl. Let's go ahead and get our spacers in and get the light bar brackets mounted. So again, we've got the 3-groove spacer going in front, the 2-groove going in back, and we'll put that side single groove spacer in once we get the bracket on. You go ahead and pass that bolt through that factory mounting hole and get the spacer on from the back side and start to align everything up. And you'll see this is why we left those lights loose, so you have the flexibility to align everything once you get up on the Jeep. We're just going to lightly thread those in by hand. And get the rest of everything lined up at the same time and get that hardware to install. And now before snugging these down, I'm going to loosen these up just a little bit so they don't hold the bracket quite as firmly. Right now is a great time to decide which direction you're running your wiring, whether you're coming back down through that A-pillar cover or coming down through the front along the cowl. So we'll go ahead and figure that out, loosen these slightly, get everything snugged up, and then retighten the brackets on the lights. So with the new hardware, you're going to use a 5mm Allen on the side and a 4mm Allen on the top 2 bolts. Alright, now with the installation all buttoned up on the driver's side, we're going to move over to the passenger and repeat the same process. Leave these loose for the time being. You're going to want to be able to aim them once you get them all wired up, and then you can tighten the Allens down that secure the lights to the brackets afterwards. Let's go over to the passenger side. Alright, now with the passenger side installed, we're going to take a little bit of time, go ahead and wire these things up, and we'll come back afterwards to see how they look. Alright, we've got everything wired up to our Switch Pros panel. Let's go ahead and see how they look.